Last year I sat down for a long chat with Chris Vail, the CEO and founder of NTH Watches. Due to the time difference, I spoke to Chris from my home office, hence the alternate office decor. In a series of 4 videos, we cover many subjects watch related. In this video, we talk about GMT watches and the possible resurgence of them thanks to the much anticipated release of cost-effective movements, such as the new offering from Miyota. We talk in detail about this much-loved complication and debate whether anyone really needs one.
A few years ago, it seems like everybody was doing pilot watches. That was the year of the pilot. And then, everybody was doing salmon-colored dials for a while.
Then everybody went bronze.
Everybody went bronze for a while. And now everybody's doing GMTs because you've got Miyota and Seiko. Now both have affordable GMT movements. Miyota especially is a true GMT. So I think we're going to see a lot of GMTs coming out. We just came out with the GMT Devil Ray with the Seiko movement, and they've been doing well so far. So
yeah, I think we're going to probably be offering that at some point.
With a courier on their way to you right now. I'll be surprised if they don't arrive today or tomorrow. While we were speaking, my phone rang. It was FedEx letting me know that our last shipment of inventory is ready for pickup.
Anyone would think we'd rehearse that GMT comment, wouldn't they?
Yeah, really.
And we didn't.
I think it is exciting. Well, the Miyota, so I've been hearing rumors about this Miyota GMT movement for a while before they came out with it. So I was prepared. And it's interesting to see the talk about it online, how many guys are really excited because they, the purists, the ones who say it's got to be a true GMT, and even the other Swiss brands, Etta and Solita, they don't have that. So what Miyota's done here is pretty amazing. I would love it if Miyota and Seiko's got a chronograph movement, an automatic chronograph, but it's insanely expensive and way too thick. I would love to see Miyota come out with a chronograph movement. Those are functions that have been missing from the Miyota range, and the GMT's been missing from both companies' ranges for a while. I'm now interested to see, are we going to find a glut of affordable GMTs on the market? I suspect we will. How many people that have professed to want a really good affordable GMT, which really hasn't existed recently, how many people actually buy them? I'm waiting to see. I think that it's one of those functions that sounds cool, and people like the look of iconic Rolex GMTs, the Pepsi or whatever, the Polar Explorer GMT. But I don't know that people really have a day-to-day use for it. If you're a pilot, sure. And if you're traveling a lot for work and you're crossing time zones, sure. But ultimately, I think a GMT is sort of like a chronograph. It becomes an added complication that most people just can't get enough utility from to rationalize paying a lot more for it. And I don't know how much more the Miyota GMTs are going to be, but the Seikos are a little bit more expensive than the three-hand movements. Is it worth maintaining those? Again, the Japanese movement, you're probably not going to pay to service it. You're probably just going to wait until it dies and then replace it. So it'll be that's I think the thing I'm keeping my eye on right now is how will the market react to this sudden flooding of inexpensive yet very good GMTs. Let's see how that happens. And if the market likes it, and if I think there's still appetite there, maybe I'll make one. We'll see.
You heard it here first, folks. Chris's prediction for 2023. It's the GMT year.
I think it's going to be the year of the GMT.
Yeah, I've kind of had one for years on my Explorer 2. And when I was traveling the world, in some very dark places, I always used to keep the red hand pointed to home time. So it's interesting to answer your question, do people use them? That red hand became proportionally more important to me than it probably should have been, because in difficult moments, and you'd look at it, the red hand was pointing to home, and that hand became something quite special to me. So that's just a very personal GMT story.
Right, but you were traveling. How many people are going to be spending that much time outside their home time zone?
I don't know. I think people there would either just want the complication or they wouldn't, just to have it. But you're entirely right. How often have I changed the time zone here in the United Kingdom? Not once.
Well, to do something analogous here, how many people own chronographs and how often do they actually have a need to use the chronograph function? I used to love chronographs because I thought they looked cool, and then I realized after I made one, I have no use for a chronograph function. I was looking for ways to use that chronograph function just to justify owning a chronograph. So, it's harder with a GMT. I mean, at least with a chronograph, I can use it to time my parking meter or my pasta that I'm boiling. Yeah. What is your use case for a GMT if you're not traveling? There isn't one.
Answers on a postcard.
So, yeah, I think, or, okay, well, I have a friend I'm working in Philadelphia and I have a friend in London, so let me track London time. Okay, fine. But day to day, I'm wondering if it's going to be something that people talked a lot about because they couldn't have it, because there weren't enough affordable mechanical GMTs on the market. But now that Seiko has one and Miyota is coming out with one, and Miyota's really looks impressive, and I think it's going to be fairly affordable. Now that I think by early next year, you're going to see that you can buy a very well-made, well-designed GMT with a Miyota movement for much less than $1,000. What is that going to do to the market? Is the fact that we can suddenly have what we've always wanted but couldn't have, is that going to erase all of our desire for it? It'll be interesting to see. So, and I don't want to be, just like when people ask me, why don't you make a bronze watch? Well, because everybody's made a bronze watch, and I don't want to be the last guy to make one right as the demand is dying. Like, that's my fear. Sort of like my dad used to say, I don't want to be the last guy to die in Vietnam. I don't want to be the last guy making a bronze watch when everybody's already bought one. So I'm a little bit concerned about the GMTs. We were one of the early adopters of the Seiko GMT, and then as soon as we committed to that, Miyota announced they were making a GMT, and now everybody's making a Miyota GMT. Let's see what the market looks like and what the mix of product and availability looks like 6 months from now. I think we're going to see a lot of GMTs coming out early next year.
Many thanks for watching this video. Check out all 4 in the series with Chris, and don't forget to subscribe to the WatchGecko YouTube channel and the magazine for the latest news, reviews and conversations.